third serving game of the set. You can average 2 aces a serving game and you got it made.
As long as you don't serve 5 double faults in the game. That's a perfect volley. And this is where Becker was so good in the round robin competition, covering that cross-court forehand, because that's where Sampras went on most occasions. Out wide, he hit a winner on that same shot the point before, but Becker is right on that one. You can see played that one round about waist high. Look at that. Perfect execution. That should be a let. If that was a call to let the other day on Sampras when they threw the ball back from in the stands, and Becker served a double fault, so Sampras got away with one there. If you remember, Becker, I mean, Agassi questioned that when he was playing Sampras the other day. The ball was thrown back by the spectator, and when that happens, if the chair umpire decides then that interrupts play, the server gets 2.
A lot more aces from Becker and a lot more double faults.
Yep.
He's got 9. Yeah.
9 and Sampras just 1.
Yeah. That's solid volleying, that, isn't it? Because, you know, there were a lot of places on the court that Sampras would have been able to cover and have a very good look at another pass. But Becker edged it wide and did it very well.
This is the last part. This is the easy part. The tough part was the forehand volley that he had to punch and get it close to the line.
So game point Becker.
If you watch Becker, if they show you a replay here and compare Becker's high volley to that of Sampras, Becker's much more risky on that high volley than is Pete Sampras. And sometimes when the pressure's on like that, and you move the wrist a little too early, you slap the wrist through, then you make more errors off that than if you just lead with the heel of the hand. It's very technical, but the head of the racket stays above the net.
Oh, you could tell him. He knew exactly where he wanted to go there, and he thought he had a very good chance of making it. Clip the tape. Really, you should try to take the wrist to the extent that you can out of the volley, shouldn't you?
Exactly. And Becker, when he gets up there, he doesn't take much of a backswing, so he flicks and breaks the wrist at the top of the swing, and that causes the errors.
He tries to muscle a lot of high volleys. You know, he really, his wrist breaks,
That's a big serve again for Becker, so he got out of trouble.
3-2 Becker in the third set. At the 1991 ATP World Championship final, Jim Courier was the #2 player in the world. His opponent, Pete Sampras, was #6 at the time. Courier was just finishing his breakthrough year on the tour, Sampras enjoying a late season surge. Sampras prevailed in the end to win his first ATP Tour championship title. Pete Sampras, the winner here in '91. Becker won it in '92. Michael Stich of Germany won it '93. So here's Sampras trying to do it again, and indeed Becker. On serve in the third set, serving 2-3, 1 set all. First set 6-4 to Becker, and then Sampras came back and was handed a gift by Becker, 5 double faults in 1 game, and he won the second 6-3.
Eventually broke serve. This is normally the pivotal set in a 5-setter. If you can get it 2 sets to 1 lead, the percentages are certainly going to go your way on most occasions. There are a lot of matches been lost from that position, but
oh, he enjoyed that.
the players like to muscle in and lead 2-1. Then they're a little more relaxed because they have that set in the pocket. Look at this. This is a slam dunk overhead. Good leap from Sampras there. And in order to leap up and do that, you have to have perfect timing. You have to be in the air and strike that ball in the middle of the racket right at the split second that you need.
Falls into the don't try that at home category. That's going to go. I thought it was going to go wide. He hit it anyway for a clean winner.
I think Becker wanted to show off too. After Sampras hit that shot, Becker was kind of saying, "Hey, I could have bounced this wide, but look, I'm going to hot dog it too.
I can't slam dunk this one, but I can hit this one from 3/4 court. It's a great lob that he plays here. This lob may have gone wide, but Becker backs back, takes that scissor steps, and then look at that angle on that overhead. You can't hit it any better than that."
30-15.
Hesitation cost that point there. Becker knows that he made the shot and then started to go in and just hesitated a moment until Sampras had played the shot. Then he was caught in a bad spot. No man's land there, forcing him to half volley.
Becker going the wrong way, and Sampras holds on. 3 games all.
That comes under the category of when you're that far in front, you've got to guess if you're going to get back into it. Percentages are when you got 40-15 that you've got to guess a couple of times if you're to get back to deuce to have any chances.
New balls coming out. I'm a big fan of this court, as I've said a few times this week, because unless you serve an ace, the boys are able to get the ball back and in play, and that's a key ingredient to getting things going. And I like it a lot. This court will be going to Split, Yugoslavia for an exhibition match on Wednesday between Michael Stich and Goran Ivanisevic. And
Ivanisevic can play exhibitions, but he cannot play any ATP Tour tournaments till the end of January now.
So far in the match, first serve percentages, Becker's up there a little better than Sampras, 65-55 winners. Pretty even. Unforced errors. Becker's committed 25 to Sampras's 9.
Yeah, as I said, it's been one bad game from Sampras, and that cost him the first set. Ace number 21 for Becker.
And one miserable game from Becker that cost him the second set.
Right.
You see some of you just talk about that exhibition that Stich and Ivanisevic are doing. They're doing it in Split for charity. So the boys do a lot for charity. And you see Ivanisevic come out and go crazy here and get fined a few $1,000 and abuse a few people. And then next week he goes up to help the folks in Croatia.
He's been very good to them.
I want to beat it to
another one.
Double fault. 30-15 in this game. The interesting dynamic of that exhibition match is that Franulovic is the captain of the Croatian Davis Cup team, and Pilic is the captain of the German Davis Cup team. They're playing in the first round of the Davis Cup next year.
Željko Franulovic, of course, is the tournament director here at the ATP Championships.
And obviously a former player. Terrific one, too. Nicky Pilic, German Davis Cup captain. He played in the final of the French Championships. A little bit of help from the net, a lot in fact, and he's got a game point here.
Again, that loose net, it's actually not unlike the kind of a net court you'll get at Wimbledon, because again, the net posts at Wimbledon are sunk into grass. So see how loose that is? That's a real, bobble net cord. At the U.S. Open sometimes, boy, they hit the top of the net and they go bouncing straight up. Yeah, they'll land into the fence exactly. Unplayable.
Right into the body, and Becker holds on. He's cut out the double faults for now. See how long it lasts. 4-3 on serve, third set. You're looking at Pete Sampras at the Festhalle in Frankfurt. He's the top player in the world. He's had by far the most successful year. He's taking on Boris Becker, who, if he wins the match today against Sampras, will be the #2 player in the world. They're playing for the World Championship here. After all those weeks of play all over the world, it's down to 2 players. Hesitation here while some of the folks behind Pete Sampras take their seats.
It's down to 2 players at the Virginia Slims Championships. Kind of a surprise final. Gabriella Sabatini is in the final against young American Lindsay Davenport. I bring that up because Mary Pierce, who is also being coached now by Nick Bollettieri, lost to Davenport pretty easily yesterday, and she called Nick after the match and said, "Why am I so up and down?" And Nick says, "Because you have to work 365 days at your tennis like Boris Becker does." Bollettieri is unbelievably respectful of the work ethic that Becker has shown in the year they have been together, and he feels very strongly that Becker's got a good-looking chance at winning the Australian for the 2nd time in '95. Of course, Pete Sampras would like to defend, and Andre Agassi is going to take a real good-looking shot at the Australian Open, an event he's never played. He said, "I beat Pete 2 weeks ago. He beat me here. I want to get him at the Australian." It's going to be a good event down there.
We're going to be there.
I'm looking forward to going home for a month. I use it as a little bit of a vacation as well to see some friends, but it's going to be an excellent tournament. There was a time when
on the men's side.
Yeah.
On the women's side, it's very doubtful that Steffi Graf with her bad back will make it and defend her title next year.
Well, there was a time when the women were the strength down there as far as the tournament was concerned. The men just wouldn't go down there at the time of the year. They changed the date, and it's in with the men and the women up until this year. It's been a very strong event. One of the Grand Slam events, of course.
Game points here for Pete Sampras, who won the Australian this year, to make it 3 in a row. She holds on here, and it's 4 games all. He had won Wimbledon and the US Open before that.
Defensive lob here. We haven't seen too many defensive lobs. He throws that one up because nearly impossible for him to get a crack at a passing shot, so you give yourself an opportunity to get back in the point. But Sampras says no. Look at the way he gets back. Scissor steps, look, on the way back for the overhead. Good reach, and then the snap of the wrist at the top of the swing. Good timing. And what more do you want? Pretty happy with that overhead.
No, Frankfurt, love 15.
Lightning can strike very quickly.
Yeah, just what I was thinking, Fred. It's 4 games all in the 3rd and love 15. $15 all. I say that because if you're at the refrigerator getting a diet something or other, this would be a good time to come back and check this match out now, because
and
this
hang
is
on to your
crunch
hat.
time.
Not too many people go to refrigerators for diet something, do they?
Light something? 30-15.
Well, at this stage of the 2nd set, Becker didn't have much control on his service game, and here he served the last 2 points, an ace breaking wide and another one right into the backhand corner.
He expects ups and downs in this match.
So much for that. Sampras wins the 1st point, and we're all on the edge of our seats, and then 3 big points from Becker, and it's game point.
So you've let go of your hat. Becker said, remember, right at the beginning, we had Becker saying that he expects a lot of ups and downs in this match. Over 5 sets. They both want it so badly.
Well, that's pretty much the way serve and volley tennis goes, isn't it? When you've got 2 champions up and against one another.
Double fault, 40-30. He says he quite likes the idea of playing a 5-set match, Becker, but and then was quick to add, I think Sampras does too.
Becker said someone asked him, we thought perhaps he was getting a little tired yesterday. He said, yes, I'm not as fresh as I was 4 or 5 days ago. You got to beat all these top players in the world in 6 days. It's not easy. Round robin and then the two weekend matches. He said, but I think I have one more match in me.
Yeah, there are no 12-inch putts out here this week, are there? No gimmies. Game point. And game for Becker. The change ends. Germany's Becker ahead. Only 2 breaks a serve. 1